Hello everyone, Oz here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing both Yuno and Haruka music video and voice drama, and also we're going to be reacting to the interrogation questions for both of them. Let's go. I've been reading a lot of comments, doing a lot of research, looking to the translation, and I'm honestly pretty excited to talk about it today. So let's start with Haruka first. I feel like this case, I don't want to say it was really obvious, but at least it wasn't as confusing as a lot of the other prisoners. I feel like we can see in the video that he was kind of neglected. There's this weird relationship with the mom. There was implications that he killed animals, or maybe like the girl, the childhood friend that he had. At least for this music video, it reaffirms that he got neglected, right? There was like, and also confirms that he killed not only just one animal but a lot of them. Also, there's a lot of negligence and trauma with the video itself. I actually looked into the translations that you guys posted, and I wanted to put in my thoughts. I feel like I didn't have a lot of thoughts into the translation differences when I first read it. I don't know if it's because I don't really dissect lyrics like that, and it didn't really affect me too much. And I don't know, maybe I just did really bad in book reports. So I really appreciate people for putting in the time to explain it to me. I guess here are my thoughts, right? The love versus look thing, right? Like, love me again, look at me again. I think the reason why I didn't look into it too much is because I thought the whole point of his case is child negligence. And I thought the look at me again made it more drastic that the parents did a really bad job with Haruka, right? Where they ignored him so much, they didn't care about him so much that he just wants to be seen, right? He just wants his parents to see him, like, no matter how it is, right? Like, bad, good, whatever. He just wants to be noticed. And I don't know if that was the whole reason why you guys want it to be the retranslated one, because of, like, maybe he wasn't supposed to be like that. Maybe he wants to be loved, right? So I guess Love Me Again did make sense because he wants to feel a positive emotion from his parents and not just like anything. So which kind of would make sense with the whole like storyline that he had. So yeah, that makes sense. But I guess like reading it for the first time, I didn't really think too much of it, I guess the second one, the other ones didn't really, I didn't really feel anything about it, but this one in particular, also I wanted to comment on it. The one with the good boy part, the good boy, and then I guess like the other part is like good boy by killing. I guess this one passed my head the first time I was reading it. Honestly, both of them. First time I was reading both. But it makes sense because the whole point of this music video is after the fact that we forgave him, right? And reaffirming or reassuring that him killing everyone or whatever reaffirms that we forgave him, and reaffirms that what he did was good, was also a bad thing, right? And that's why I guess like this kind of like splits up the community. Like, do we want to forgive him again or not, right? And I guess for me, like, the reason why I don't want to forgive him is because he killed, and I am not about violence, right? And you could say that with all 10 of them, but at least I don't want to forgive him in this case because I don't want to reaffirm him twice that what he did is good, especially with the messaging of his music video that says I'll be a good boy by killing or whatever. Like, I don't want that, right? So yeah, I guess like that's my thoughts on that. At least that's my thoughts on the music video at this point. But yeah, he killed animals, like killed his childhood friend, I think, especially with the choking at the end. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I think about him in his case. Yeah, and then I guess like my comments on the Moo thing. He wants to get together with Moo. In my opinion, weird relationship, but it doesn't really matter. At least he has a relationship. I believe he just wants to be loved by someone else. It doesn't matter what their dynamic is. Honestly, I'm not really gonna know what their dynamic is until I see Moo and how she talks about him. At this point, he is very loyal to her, and yeah, pretty interesting dynamic in my opinion. And moving on to Yuno, I also appreciate you guys for commenting any thoughts about her. I think ending my last video, I was very confused about her case. I think there's some implications that there's some parts that I know or I can understand, but there's some that are very relatively confusing. I think it's because she puts in this front that I don't want to cross, like I don't want to overanalyze, that she has her things together, right? She has herself together. And I was like, okay, she's pretty aware of what she's doing. And then her music video is very confusing because I don't know, it didn't really relate to the personality that she was showing with the voice drama. But it made more sense once you guys were kind of confused when you guys were explaining it, right? It was definitely clearer than last time. She gave a lot more context in the first video, which I think that was the whole point of her first music video. She wants to build assumptions, and then she wants to combat that with the voice drama, right? TLDR, abortion, right? I think we all understand that. Music video is trying to justify her actions as she wants to be an adult. I think that's kind of what I got from it, right? She wants to justify it so bad that instead of being weak, or instead of her or us seeing her as weak because she's being preyed by rich people, and she's doing sex work, she wanted to justify it by saying that it is her own decision. She's doing it with her own decision. She's controlling her body. She wasn't taken advantage of, kind of mentality. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, she kind of confirms that wasn't because of her family. Like, she didn't come from like a really bad background. She didn't have any traumatizing, past. It was just all her decision. I mean, is she lying? Is she lying by saying that? I don't know, because we don't really know her family dynamics, right? But I'm putting it in face value because that's what she said, and I don't know anything about that. Maybe there's some implications that in the music video that says that, but as far as I know, and as far as she said, she had a pretty normal childhood. It seems like she's hurting in the music video, but she's hiding it really well. I mean, the voice drama, she has a really strong front, very stubborn front, right? But then in the music video, you could see both sides of her. Like, she even cried at some point, I believe, in the music video. It seems like she's hurting, but yeah, she's putting in this front that she's a very collective person. Even when she's doing her work, or she's has her other outfit on. I also feel like she has this expectation that she wants to escape. I don't know if that's the reason why she's doing all of this. We all assume that she's a good girl or she has her shit together, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But she hates that, and that's why she's doing all of this. I don't know if that's to spite everyone else's views on her, but yeah, I guess that's what makes her a little bit confusing. Like, maybe she doesn't want to be seen as this perfect girl that everyone's make her seem to be, and that's why she got mad that we assumed that her life, or that something happened, and that's why she did the whole abortion thing. Like, did she get R-worded? Did she get abused? Did she get essayed? And and she even finalizes it and puts the nail in the coffin that, oh, it's my decision to make that happen. It's my decision to abort this baby, blah blah. On top of other things that happen, right? It's her decision to do these sexual acts with all these rich people. It's her decision to do that, blah blah. Still confused about her personality. Ultimately, I'm really confused about her personality and what she's trying to get out of this. And I'm not really sure what to expect from her in Trial 3, to be honest with you. Yeah. All right, let's talk about decisions about Haruka. Am I leaning towards forgiving or not forgiving him? I think emotionally I want to make a decision, but maybe I can make the decision after we react to the interrogation questions. Here's my thoughts right now. All things considered, this is about forgiving, right? If I forgive Haruka, at least like from this recent voice drama, he changed, right? He changed because we forgave him. I believe he views decisions as black and white. I forgave him. He never looked back, right? I forgave him. He said that what I did when I forgave him gave him confidence. He changed. When it showed some doubts after that, after the whole change thing, and after we humbled him, he freaked out. He was like, but you forgave me. Did you lie to me? Freaked out, became all violent, threatened us, blah, blah, right? That's why I feel like I'm leaning towards not forgiving him, because I'd rather be straight up. What you did is not okay, right? I feel like we gave him a false sense of hope after forgiving him for what he did. And yeah, that's why I'm leaning towards not forgive. For not forgive, I am a little scared about certain decisions, because if we choose not to forgive, I feel like a lot of things branches off, right? It branches off to also if I forgive Moo in the process. If I didn't forgive him, I also did not forgive Moo, what will happen, right? Hard to predict how he's gonna react, because there's a lot of branches in this case. Would Kotoko hurt him after this? If Kotoko hurt him, would Moo intervene? If Moo doesn't intervene, will he start hurting Moo or hating Moo because, oh, I thought we had something together and then he didn't defend me, he didn't fight for me, blah blah. But if Moo intervenes, will he dedicate his entire life to her, right? And what does that entail? I'm not sure. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. Right now I'm leaning towards not forgive, but I feel like that gives a lot of branches towards this decision. It's just like, I feel like it's gonna give a lot more dynamic changes with Moo and with Kotoko and with everyone else. But I think those are the main two people that I have to like watch out for, and not just Haruka. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it's going to end, or how it's going to continue even with trial 3. So, or I guess like we have to look forward to how Moo is first. So for Yuno, I actually don't know how I feel about her case. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm leaning towards just forgiving her. I can't really think of any scenarios about like not forgiving her just because of how she's acting. I do feel like she's going to be more resentful if I do forgive her. But at the same time, like, how will not forgiving her really change the trajectory of her story? I'm not really confident with Yuno as far as the characters right now with Prisoners. I wasn't really that confident with her. I guess like she made me doubt her storyline to begin with after this trial 2. Now I don't really want to assume anything about her just because she kind of intimidated me not to. And now she's, that's basically her storyline, that a lot of people are putting false narratives into her story. And honestly, I respect that. But at the same time, I feel like, as young as she is, I feel like I honestly, personally, I would just take what I can get. I probably wouldn't even like be stubborn about it. If people feel bad, people feel bad. I mean, how does that really change you in a way, But I guess that's kind of just how she grew up, right? Yeah, I'm like leaning towards like forgiving her as of now, just because I don't think she did really anything wrong. I think, her decisions leading up to that is, valid in her own way, right? In her own way. Obviously, the story and like the decision of abortion has a lot to do with whoever, it could be the law, it could be whoever is like bearing the child. Like both of them are not me. At least in my own personal way, I would forgive what she did. I don't know if I'm also doing that out of spite, but she doesn't really strike me as someone who did that just to spite everyone else and ruin expectation. But that could also be in the direction that she's written as, right? Anyways, yeah, let's go to interrogation finally. All right. Following the release of both of their second trial MVs, Haruka and Yuno answered 20 questions sent in by fans. These Q&As offer extra information and tidbits about the characters, okay? All right, shout out to the English translations. Thank you translators. Oh, 4 years ago. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. I might have to shrink myself a little. There you go. Do you like yourself? I think I like myself the way I am now. Okay. Character development. They're not my mom. Oh, us. You want to get out of Milgram? I want to stay here forever. What's the origin of your name? It seems like she wanted the girl. She'll. Oh shit, dude. Do you think you'll be forgiven this time too? I think so. The warden said that what I did was not wrong. Oh man, dude. See, I feel like that kind of ruins me a little bit just because, you know, I give them this sense of hope that I will forgive them every time, even though they did something wrong. And I feel like I need to start establishing that, I don't say like ruthlessness, but more of like, I guess like the, you know, be more objective in a way, right? Or I guess like look into the future to see like what will happen for each scenario, right? Oh, I feel like we never really talk about the father. It's always been like the mom and how the mom mistreated him, right? Oh, dang. So even though he didn't grow up rich, he's still pretty giving, I guess. I don't know if I would really categorize this as that, or more of like he's just clueless about the way of life currently. He's so detached, you know what I mean? It's fun because my mom was nice. Oh, what? What do you think about Kotoko's attacks on the other prisoners? It's scary, but the warden thinks that those people were bad people, right? Oh man, I feel like he has like this one-dimensional thinking, and I don't like it. Obviously, it's not his fault, but I feel like that's something I have to consider when I make decisions about him, you know? Because I feel like he just like think about it like black and white rather than like have some context, have some kind of way of thinking rather than just following orders or just following the crowd, right? And I feel like that's what he is. If you could turn back in time, would you commit the same murder again? I don't know. I think I wouldn't have done it if it were in Milgram. Oh. Is there anything you can do? I'm fine with Amana-chan now. I'm not scared of small children anymore. Oh. Interesting. Oh, man. So everything I think is wrong. Oh, man. Sleep. Be smart and strong. I want to become an interesting person. He really doubts himself. That's what's interesting about him. I feel like I think for me, I would say I'm a very pessimistic person towards myself, but I think Haruka is just like way in another level. I don't want to die. Okay. Oh. Everyone must have their own circumstances. Pretty considerate. I wonder, I think I was envious of them. Oh. Alright. Yuno time. Do you like yourself to some extent? If I was reborn as myself again, I probably wouldn't hate it that much. Okay. I like how both of them don't really hate themselves to be like, you know, suicidal in a way. Okay. Pretty opposite of what Haruka said. She wants to get outside. Gentle and honest. Don't you think that asking us is kind of lame? The one who decides to warden us. You know, man. We already talked about my family structure, didn't we? I already told you I don't have a father. Eat a good dinner, lunch with my family, and give the rest of my friends. Pretty considerate as well. Isn't it just stupid? Even if you tackle the problem right in front of you with violence, won't change anything in the world. I do agree. I think that's one of my gripes about Kotoko, and I hate how Kotoko is prisoner number 10. So I have to wait until the end to find out why she's doing what she's doing. But I agree with Yuno. I make sure that I don't have to commit it. I think any prisoners can deal with. I wonder who that'll be for me. Can't stand seeing Haruka and Muchan. Why? Is it because they're in a relationship, or is it because it's cringe? Or maybe she just doesn't like their dynamic as well. It'll be interesting to find out about their dynamic in Moo's interrogation. Wait, let me... Something like, stop trying to justify everything I did with reasons you came up with. Okay, so just reiterating what we talked about during her interrogation or voice trauma. Too realistic? That is true. Friends and relatives are happy. Very considerate. This probably isn't the answer you wanted, but I think I'd rather go with moderate amount of both. You have too much of or little too of either, you turn out weird. Fair, realistic. 40 years? I don't know why that one is like a question though. Which prisoner is most likely? The only option is Kazui. Did you forgive the other prisoners? It's not something you should decide yourself, right? Isn't that what the law is for? I mean, I don't think that's what that question is for. It's about forgiving. It's not about would you let them off the hook. You know what I mean? It was too much of a pain for me to think about. My opinion towards that is it kind of reconfirms a lot of things that we already know. I feel like the interrogation for the first trial meant a little more to me than this one. I feel like trial 2 voice drama and music video just gave me so much context about the characters, and you know, I think that's just how it goes. Also with just like, you know, the context within, you know, what the comments are giving me, right? So I think this one was more of like a confirmation, gives depth, or just confirms certain like small details that they talk about, or maybe they hinted about in previous, you know, social like media that they released. I guess after all of that, my current decision is not forgive Haruka, but forgive Yuno. I feel like that's, in my opinion, and you know, like don't you know, spoil me with the decisions of the community. But I mean, like, you could kind of like tell me about your you know, what the community, or at least like what you think personally, and not what the community would thought. I feel like Haruka hasn't really done anything wrong, or maybe a lot of people just like Haruka to begin with. For me, it's not about if I like him as a character or not, but more so what would result for each, you know, decision. And I already explained that during his part, if you want to look back at it. But I am not gonna forgive him, and I just want to see how he's gonna react. I feel like one of the questions is something along the lines of like me forgiving him or whatever, and I don't know. I think like the way he said it again, that I'm just like, oh, like I could do anything because he forgave me type mentality. Not it for me. And I don't want to justify whatever he did, even with the excuse of like his childhood trauma, right? For Yuno, dude, I don't know if this is like just I want to do something backwards this time, but I do think that despite her cries of like just leave me alone, then it doesn't matter if you forgive me or not, I do side with the fact that she, I don't know. I feel like what she did wasn't the worst that she could have done. I feel like it could have been worse, and she could have just given the life of her child more hell than it's supposed to be, right? And I feel like she made the best decision that she can at that time. I'm not really sure. I think like her case is a little bit more confusing, or there's just a lot of gaps that I can't fill in right now. Even after reading the comments, I think that her case is a little bit confusing, because it's not just about the abortion case. It's about her pride, about what she's been doing, and justifying what she's been doing. And I think those actions, I'm pretty neutral about it. I'm not saying that, oh, like you're doing it wrong or you're doing it right. I feel like I'm very neutral. like after looking into like her perspective, obviously I don't really know her background story. It's not as apparent as Haruka's, but I'm just gonna forgive. So yeah, Haruka, not forgive. Yuno, forgive. All right. Anyways, sorry that took forever. I actually had to film the second part after my convention. But yeah, we're gonna go on Futas probably on Thursday or maybe sometime this weekend. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Goodbye. Bye. Please comment anything that you think about, anything that I missed or any opinions that y'all have. I'm curious to see like what people think about these characters. As long as you don't tell me what the community thinks. Anyways, have a good night. It's almost May, but yeah. See y'all in the next video. Goodbye.